Welcome to the solo play. I'm the spiders. We're teaming, I'm going up against the cockroaches and ants. Let's learn a little bit more about our opponents here. Alright, so if the ant hills are all on the board, the ants are going to ignore the tunneler ability. The ant hills are going to allow the ants to move around the board a little quicker. Everything adjacent to an ant hill is adjacent to other space on the board for the ants, like I said. So they can move around a lot faster and they can get to us easier. Alright, so let's look at the cockroaches. If I draw a hunger card that gives the opponent a +1 free move, it's going to allow the cockroaches to move even if it's not their turn coming up next. So even if an ant card's drawn, it's going to give the cockroaches 2 moves that they can move towards the jelly bean. If they can't get to the jelly bean from that, they're going to move towards it anyways. If any cockroaches hit the jelly bean from that effect, then I'm going to get another hunger card. So I want to keep them away from the jelly bean, so that's another thing I need to worry about. There's a couple other special rules from these two factions that are going to come up through the event cards, and we'll get to that when we get there, but I know that I need to keep the ants away from the jelly bean too. I actually picked a really hard setup for myself, being that the cockroaches and ants are both going to that jelly bean, and if either get there, it hurts me quite a bit. So it's going to be me trying to protect that jelly bean from them a lot of this time, and trying to complete my goals. So let's look at what I need to do. Harvest. I need all my web tokens on the board. I have 4 web tokens. If I get all of them on the board, that's going to get me one of my missions. Each mission I complete is going to give me powers. We'll go over the powers as I gain them. Our next mission is have 3 spiders adjacent to an opposing home spawn point. So the board here is going to start getting crammed really fast. I think I want to complete that spider swarm really early. I have the Grey Wool Jumper, which is my fastest unit on the board right now. I can start hopping up there and hopefully get there before things turn crazy. Crawl over, have all 4 types of spiders on the board. This one, as the game goes on, this is going to get a lot easier as we get more food. Our different bugs cost different amounts of food to put onto the board, so I need to kind of build up that food before I can even do that, or I need to upgrade into egg sacs, which is going to allow me to get bigger bugs out onto the board. Web crawlers spawn 8 spiders on webs, so I'm going to keep track of these little spider tokens. So as I'm putting webs out, I want to make sure I'm spawning off of the web and not just randomly around the board. That's going to get me this a lot easier. Unit locking, placing webs that are on bugs 3 food cost or more. So I want to put my webs on their bigger units, something like the palmetto bug over here. He's a 3 food cost unit. So just the weakest units, I don't want to be worrying about webbing as much. I want to web the bigger ones, and that's going to get me unit locking. I just got to do that 5 times. And then draining blood, I need to kill 8 bugs with webs. So I need to kill them, and then I need to use my harvest ability, or I need to use my egg sacs. So let's think about strategy here and how I'm going to actually accomplish what I want to do here. So I know that I probably am going to want to upgrade towards egg sacs. I'm just looking through my tech deck right now. Egg sacs is probably one of my biggest things I know I'm going to be wanting, so I'm going to be keeping that towards the top. If I start needing attacks, I will move towards this, but I'm probably not going to worry too much about it. With things I need to fight, I don't really need to move over obstacles. The spiders are more powerful than the ants and the cockroaches, really, in terms of numbers. So I don't think I need to move over them. I think I could just kill them. I'm not too worried about the trapdoor spider for this, so I'm not worried about that card. This one lets me turn after, or flip like around after hopping. It's situational. I might put it near the top. Again, not worried about trapdoor spiders. This one here lets me teleport web to web. This could be very good later. Not at the beginning for me, so I'm just going to I think it's a little more important than this one, so I'll put it there. Black Widow, I'm not too concerned about the Black Widow. And if I want to use the Black Widow, I can buy this card for it. This is probably the cheapest web card in the deck. It is the cheapest web card in the deck, so I'm going to just throw that on top. I'm definitely going to want that. This is also a web card, and this can be used for any spider, not just seller. So this one, I'm going to pop right in here. This one's going to let me move around the board pretty quick. I'm going to throw that right on top. Because remember, I want to move towards their home base. Actually, this guy's facing the wrong way. He was upside down. There we go. I want to move towards one of the home spawn points really quick. This card is going to help me get a faster movement. So I may end up purchasing this right from the start. I am going to be using gray wall jumpers quite a bit. This card is tempting. If it just has the name of the bug, that means you can attack or move with it, which means you can activate it. I don't know. Busy as a bee, an extra action in the turn. You play it for 2 actions, so you're playing it as an action. You get 2 more, which essentially is just +1 action. It's nice. I may need that. I'm gonna throw it near the top of my deck. Anger. I don't really need to just attack. Remember, we're worrying about our missions. We're not worrying about just killing things. I'm going to throw it at the bottom, but I know it's in there if I need it. I'd rather have the attack in webs. It lets me attack with anything. This will only let me attack with my gray wall and my cellar spider. Nasty Bite is a really good attack. It's still going to sit at the bottom. And drawing 3 cards, I don't really need to cycle my deck that much, so I don't think I need that. So my main cards I'm going to worry about are probably these 5. I don't really need cards beyond those. I may get more, we'll see. But in this game, you're not really building up too much card-wise. You don't want to bog yourself down. So I just lay my tech deck near me. It's not going to be in my hand. I'm going to get to start off, and I start with 6 cards. So for my starting deck, I'm going to draw 6. Here's my starting hand. I'm going to take all the DNA and food and put it into my storage. Which means essentially it's out of my deck for the moment. I can still use it, but it's not in my hand. This is what's left in my hand. Then I move to phase 2, the hunger phase. I have no hunger, so I skip it. Then I go to phase 3, which is my player phase. I got 2 actions I can use in any order, and a free move. Well, my free move is definitely going to be hopping up here. So he has a movement of 2. There's a little leap icon with a 2, which means he can move up to 2 spaces, ignoring the space in between. So I could combine to try to reduce my deck from getting rid of some of these cards, but remember, I want to kind of rush up there. So I might just use both bug marches to start running up that way. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use both my bug marches. I'm going to do jump, jump. That's 2 actions. Oh, I forgot to put a leftover to start my discard pile. And I'm out of cards, I'm out of actions, I have no free move left. I must spawn or buy in my turn. Well, I only have 2 DNA. There's nothing I really wanted for 2 DNA in my tech deck. So I'm going to spend a food, and I'm going to spawn a cellar spider right there. I'm putting him there so he can kind of block the gray wall jumper. So if those ants start coming towards me to attack me, I'm hoping they're going to attack that cellar spider before they attack the gray wall jumper, because I need him to continue that jumping motion towards their home spawn and clear that area out for me. So I draw my next 6 cards, which are going to be these. They will go into my hand. It's just the rest of my starting deck. Your starting deck has 12 cards, so you get 2 hands before your deck reshuffles. Any card you purchase goes into the discard unless it's resources, which go into your storage. So I still have 2 DNA and 1 food in my storage, and that's going to stay there until next turn. Now we go to the event phase. So I take the top event card and I flip it over. So we have ants activating. So I go down through the order. This is the ant card 1 of 8. I'll go down through the order, and I always have to trigger this bottom part. So I'm going to skip these 2, the 2+ goals and the 4+ goals. So these 2 sections will get skipped because I didn't complete any goals yet. We're just going to do these 2 top and then these 3 bottom. Which is going to look at my opposing strategy for mission 1 on Harvest. So your missions are all numbered 1 to 6. I'm looking at number 1 because that's what they're triggering. So it says move 2 bugs towards a web token where they can kill it if possible. I have no webs on the board yet, and the 2 bugs refers to them. If no web tokens exist, then they move towards your home spawn point. So I'm going to take 2 ants that are closest to my spawn point and move them 1 space closer. So this one's going to move 1 space closer to my home. This one is going to move 1 space closer to my home. Then I go to the next bullet point. Spawn 2 bugs on terrain spaces. Now, anytime there's a spawn happening, it's always going to be closest to your bugs, with the center of the board as the tiebreaker. And the center is where these 3 spots collide. So where all 3 of these boards touch, that's this point here. So you're looking for the closest towards here that's closest to your bugs. In spawning, you take their cheapest unit that they still have left, and I'm going to spawn these on terrain spaces. If these spaces were all covered, then it'd be as close to the terrain spaces as possible and close to your bugs. So one's going to spawn here on this grass. They always face your higher food costing unit, so he's going to face this way. And the next closest one is the sand over here. He's going to go here, and again, they face your closest unit. Now, I have no goals completed, so I skip this and this, because this is 2+ goals and 4+. Now I go to the always trigger. So feast. Discard 1 food card of any value from your storage for each ant adjacent to the jelly bean. So this is what I have to worry about. This is going to happen every time the ants trigger. If any of them are ever near the jelly bean, then I need to make sure that I kill them, because they're going to start getting food out of my storage. They would attack if they're able to kill me and not die. This worker ant right here, if he attacked, he would die from my units. So he won't attack. None of the others are within range to attack, so they don't. Tunneler. Place an ant hill adjacent to the bug you have closest to the center of the board, and at least 4 spaces away from all other ant hills and the ant's home. So what I'm going to look at is I'm looking to the bug that I have closest to the center of the board, which is here. And I'm going to grab an anthill. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to go here. The 4 value is going to face my ant. That concludes the event card. So I just throw this on the side. That card's done. And again, that was event card 1 of 8. If I remember, I'll edit that in so you can see it. Alright, so now I go back to my turn. I've already drawn my new hand of 6, remember last turn. And in case it cut off before that, here it is. So I'm going to take all the DNA and food that I have, which is... get these organized here in my hand. So all of this is going to go into my storage, leaving me with these 2 bug marches. Now remember, my goal is I want to get around their home spawn point right now, and I need 3 spiders adjacent to it. The easiest way for me to do this, I'm trying to think. I do have 6 DNA in my storage right now. This ant up here is going to cause me some problems. I need a way to kill it. So I need to get a Gray Wall Jumper card at least into my deck so I can fight with that, or get an Anger card so I can fight with that. But I also want to be able to start webbing things. So I think the Anger is going to end up in my deck this time. So let's go ahead and free move to here. I'm going to hop over that ant. debating whether I want to move again or not. I think I'm safe right there, so I think I'm good to stay there for the moment. I'm going to use my next two actions to combine twice. I'm going to combine two of my 1 DNAs into a 2 DNA. This 2 DNA goes straight back to my storage. These ones, since they're faction specific, they go out of the game. If they were regular 1 DNAs that I purchased, they go back into the general supply. So I combined once for the two ones for a 2. You can only combine 2 cards at a time. Now I'm going to combine a 2 and a 1. Then again, that 1 goes away, the 2 goes back to the general supply to get a 3. Alright, so that was all my actions. I did my free move. The 2 bug marches in my hand, I'm just going to throw to my discard at the end of my turn because I don't care. However, discarding is after purchasing, but they're going to go away. I'm going to buy some cards here now. So I'm going to spend all 6, and I'm going to purchase these 2 cards. So this card here is going to allow me to start putting webs out for my cellar spiders. This card here is going to let me attack with cellar spiders and gray wool jumpers. Those both go to my discard. Then I discard the 2 cards from my hand. I'm left with 2 food in my archive. I think I'm okay with that, and I'm going to just keep them there. Or not archive, I mean my storage. I am now out of cards, so when I go to draw, I have to shuffle my deck. So I take the entire deck, all the cards that I've discarded and everything. I shuffle them up. That becomes my new draw deck. I take one of these leftover cards. Now, in the actual game, it won't have this, cannot combine here. This is an old roll. I ordered the new ones, but I just don't have them yet, so just ignore that. I take this and put it into my discard. That's my new discard. I draw 6 new cards. So I do have an attack coming next turn, so here's what I have. And this is good because I have 2 food in my storage. I'll have this extra food here that'll let me spawn 3 cellar spiders. So my next turn, as long as things don't get really messed up, I'm planning on hopping here, killing with the anger card, and then spawning around here 3 more cellar spiders, and that'll get me the 4 bugs. Actually, I need 3 around their home spawn point. So I'll only spawn 2 more there. That's going to give me that mission. So that's my goal for next turn, as long as the enemies don't do something that really messes that up. Now we draw our event card, and the ants are going again. This time we have 8 of 8. Mission 6 trigger. So I look at my opposing mission 6. Move 2 bugs towards a web token where they can kill it if possible. If no web exists, move them towards your home spawn point. So I take the 2 closest ants and move 1 space closer to my home spawn point. Now they can turn and move just like a player. Move a red ant towards your closest unit. There's no red ants out, so I got lucky there. There's nothing that's going to happen. Again, feast. None of them near the jelly bean. Attacking. He won't attack because he'll die. This can't attack. Has a little red sword symbol, which means cannot attack. It can still assist, but it can't attack. And then we do our tunneler. So now we look at the bug that's closest to the middle, which is still this guy. And there's no spot around him that's 4 spaces away from this anthill, so they're not going to lay another anthill yet. So currently we just have the 1 anthill. Back to me. So that was actually a really good outcome for me. So again, I'm going to free move here, and now I'm going to play anger. Oh, I've already put my resources into my storage. So, anger, I attack with a bug. It costs 3 food or less. My gray wool jumper costs 3 food, so it's 3 or less, so 3 counts. And now, since it's just 1 versus 1, we look at the 2 on the gray wall. We look at the 1 on the worker ant. My 2 beats that 1. It dies. Goes back to its general supply. I get a 1 food for killing it. It goes directly into my storage. Alright, now I'm going to spend 2 1-foods to spawn twice. And I'm just going to spawn a cellar spider here and a cellar spider there. 3 bugs adjacent to their home spawn point. I get to flip this. Now, as an action, I can spawn a cellar spider on any empty space next to a web token, ignoring spawning rolls, which means I can spawn directly beside enemies. Still has to be an empty space, but now I have a lot more control over spawning my cellar spiders at least. And I don't have to use food for it if I want to stockpile some food. I do have one more action. I'm holding on to 3 bug marches. I spawned this turn so I don't have to buy, so I think I'm going to use the archive action. So I'm going to spend 2 DNA, which goes to my discard, take one of these bug marches and put it face down into my archive. I can play that at any time in the future as if it was in my hand, but it does get it out of my deck, so it's not going to shuffle it anymore. So I'm just going to discard the rest of that. I spawned already, I don't have to buy, I'm not going to buy. I do have my first mission, so let's look at our missions before I draw a new card, see what we want to go for next. So webs on the board. I haven't started webbing anything, but I know in my next hand I'm going to get that web card, which is nice. We have to web higher costing units, so I want to either get to that palmetto or I want to force the ants to try to let them bring out more things so that red ant starts coming out. I think I'm going to start moving towards the palmetto though. And towards the cockroaches. Cockroaches will get bigger units out faster. Spawning on webs. I need to get some webs out to start spawning on them. So I'm going to start with that, I think. And kill bugs with webs. Yeah, so I have a lot of stuff I need to do with webs. First thing I think I need to do is get all my webs onto the board. And while I'm doing that, start spawning with them. So that's my plan. So I draw 5. I have no more cards on my discard. Or my draw deck, so I have to shuffle my discard to draw my 6th card. Get a new leftovers. We'll look at my new hand here. And again, I'm playing a lot slower than I normally would. So this is going to be a little bit longer than normal. Here's my new hand. And now it's the event time. So we have cockroaches this time, number 7 out of 8. Now we'll get to see what they do. They're going to do a mission 4 trigger. Now I've completed my mission 4 already, because that was this one here. When you complete a mission, it ignores that and goes to the next higher number. If it ever hits 6 and it's completed, it'll cycle back to 1. So it's always going to trigger something, it just might not trigger the one that it said. Alright, so mission 5 is spawn a bug adjacent to a web space they can kill. If there's not a space that exists, it's spawn adjacent to your home. So they're going to grab their lowest costing unit, which should be the leap roach. It's going to spawn next to my home, and it's going to face towards the closest unit that I have on the board. So it could face this way or this way. They're both going to be approximately the same, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So I'll just face it. Actually, center is breaking ties, so it's going to face the center. Move all armor-plated roaches towards the jelly bean. There are none right now. At the end of the player's turn, each armor-plated roach and hissing roach next to the jelly bean cause you to discard a food from your storage, so I'm glad there's none there. Again, like I said, I need to keep both these factions away from that jelly bean. Right now I've been lucky and they haven't been going after it yet, but they will start. I've only completed 1 mission, so I don't do the 2 goals completed yet. Always trigger. So my always trigger for this is scavenge. All cockroaches adjacent to, these are how cockroaches work. Each one adjacent to one of your units gets a +1 grass token. So if there's any beside me, they get a grass token. And also if I had any leftovers in my storage, I'm sorry, they get a +1 grass token if I have leftovers in my storage. Sorry, I misread that and I forgot that I changed that. So they're going to buff up if I hold on to leftovers and I don't spend them, or I don't combine them out of my deck. Then they attack, there's none adjacent to me so they won't attack. And then hunger, if a cockroach is adjacent to the jelly bean, you gain 3 hunger cards to discard, so it's horrible. Luckily there's none there. So I really, really don't want cockroaches next to that jelly bean. Alright, back to my turn. Alright, so I have a 3 and a 1 DNA, which are going to jump into my storage, and I have 2 1 DNAs, now, or 2 1 foods, I mean, and one of these is a leftover, so I already saw that leftovers are bad in there for the cockroaches against me, so I don't want to worry too much about that. We do want to get some webs out so we can start doing some things, and I think alright, I'm going to take that one leftover that I have and I'm going to use it to spawn a cellar spider back at the home spawn point. You can always spawn on home even if it's adjacent to an enemy. Then I'm going to play my web slinger. That's going to allow me to throw a web onto something adjacent to a cellar spider. Has to be a bug. I can't put this on the anthill. I could place it here, or I can place it on the leaf roach. I'm going to place it on the leaf roach at the home spawn point. I do have one more action left. Do I want to start combining a little bit more? I might. I need to... or do I want to start moving? You know what, let's combine 2 of these ones, and again, these are my stock ones for my foods. And I'm going to get a 2 food card in its place, which will go here. Discard the cards. I have 4 DNA and 3 food. I think I did spawn, so I don't have to do anything else. I think I'm going to stay still where I'm at. I think I'm happy with that for now. My plan is I'm probably going to spawn a gray wall jumper off of here and start moving that way. But I want to get the other web card into my discard. Because next turn my cards are going to shuffle. I just drew my next 6 here and my deck is now empty. So this is what I'm looking at next turn. I do have an attack in here. Don't really have a good place to use the attack. I could move and attack him from the back and kill him, but it doesn't really do me any good. I have no missions for killing except for by webs. So you have to remember your missions as you're playing, and we're not just trying to wipe them off the board, we're trying to complete our goals before the timer runs out, and our timer is this event deck. Alright, that ends my turn. We go to the event. We got Cockroach 6 of 8. Mission trigger of 6. Move 2 bugs towards a web token where they can kill it if possible. So none of them can actually get to the web to kill it. So they're going to move as close as possible to it. And these are cockroaches. So this guy has a flight of 4. That's a low flight, so he can't go over things, but he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, which is amazing because now he's right beside me. And he's the one that I want to actually web. And then we look at these two. I think they're the same distance away because they're both 2 spaces from here, and then from there down it's going to be the same. So in that case we'll look to see which one's closer to the center. This one's actually closer to the center because it's 1, 2, 3. This one's 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's the one that's going to move. Now they have a hop of 3. They must move exactly 3 unless stopped by an obstacle. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3. And now we spawn 3 bugs adjacent to my home spawn point. That's... okay, the downside of filming this with an actual camera and not a camcorder is it keeps shutting off on me. So, again, where was I here? Oh, okay. So, this hissing roach, he's beside my unit. He's going to attempt to attack if he can kill me. It's a 4 against a 4, just because of the way combat works. 1 and 3 is 4, 2 and 2 is 4, so 4 against 4. So since it can't kill me, I have to discard a card from my archive. I'm going to end up discarding the anger card because I want to keep the bug march out of my deck. I still only have 1 goal, so I skip down. Scavenge. I have no leftovers in my storage. I've been careful to keep them out. They would attack if they can kill something. None of them can kill anything. And if any cockroaches were next to a jelly bean, I'd be in a world of hurt right now, but there's none. So I'm good. Now it's back to my turn. So I have a much better turn here. So 2 ones into my storage, 2 food into my storage. And I got 2 web cards, one for with any bug and one with a cellar spider. I can't spawn any more cellar spiders, they're all on the board. So I'm kind of stuck with what I have out here. So I'm going to play the surprise web to lob a web on this. Hold on. Scratch that. I'm going to use the web slinger to put a web from this cellar spider onto the palmetto, which gets me a token on webbing 3+ bugs. Then I'm going to spend 3 food to spawn a gray wall jumper here, move him into this nice deadly area, use surprise web to plop a web here, which is going to give me another token there. And I am a lot more happy with that. I need to get a web up by my other cellar spiders so I can start moving them through the webs. Or I just need to start moving them maybe. I am out of actions though, so I did spawn. I don't have to buy anything, so I'm not going to buy because I'm saving up for those egg sacs. Just gonna discard the bug march that's in my hand, draw back up. So I have to shuffle my deck again. New leftover to my discard. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get a look at our next turn. So we have our anger coming back up, so I'll be able to attack something. This actually is not a bad time for attacking. My Grey Wall can wipe out 2 of these creatures down here. It'll die also, but that's going to get me a 2 food into my deck. And it's going to wipe out some of the things down here around my home spawn point to kind of clear it out a little bit for me. I'm not too... well, I don't know if I really need to clear them or not. Actually, but I do want him to die. He's facing the wrong direction for me. But if I did move him on a web, I can put him on any other web. So actually, I don't know. Oh, we'll see. Let's see what they do. Event card. Ants. Number 5 of 8. Trigger number 5. Oh, they really are not liking my web down here. So this is going to be... well, I have more than one web now, so they might go after something different. Spawn a bug adjacent to a web space that it can kill it. Well, they're still on worker ants, so it's not going to kill anything. So therefore, closest to the home spawn point, it's going to go towards the center, and clockwise around. And face my closest bug, which is still this direction. Spawn 2 bugs next to your bugs. Flip 2 worker ants into carpenter ants. Oof. Okay. So spawn 2 bugs next to your bugs. It's going to start... let's see, do they even have... there's only 1 worker left, so we're getting the red ant now. It's going to start with a worker. It's going to be the closest bug I have to the home spawn, or to the middle of the board. So remember, that's our tiebreakers right here. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be this one. So he's going to be closest to the middle. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's between these two. If there's ever a choice, it's going to be closest to my spawn point, so here, and then the other one will go here. And now, 2 worker ants are going to flip into carpenter ants. These are going to be the closest ones to the place it just triggered. So it's going to be this one. And this one here is closest to him. Feast. I have no food to discard out of my storage because I used it all, so that doesn't affect me. Then we look at Tunneler. 1, 2, 3. don't think there's a place that's 4 away from a ant hill and their home spawn point that I am. The farthest one I have from one of their ant hills is this one, and he's only 3 away from this one. So that's not going to trigger, because that's be adjacent to one of my bugs. Okay. So that'll go away now. Well, their attack, they definitely killed this guy. These two couldn't. Oh, this one dies too, because 1 and 2 is 3 against this 2. What gives me Cellar Spider at least back? I would have liked to have stayed over there though, because now I don't know. It's maybe not. I think I might be good. Okay, so I have a 2 and a 1 DNA. It's put into my storage. 2 food. Okay. Well, my guy's not there for the anger anymore, so that's kind of a moot point. Let's see. I have 1 more web to get on the board. I don't have a way to put that out yet. I still need to spawn off of webs. So let's spend my 3. Let's get a gravel jumper here. Spawn on a web so I get a token. I kind of want to free move the ones way up on the other side of the board, but I also kind of want to use this anger. Okay, so looking at my... Actually, I'm going to spend... So I have 2 actions still. I just spawned. I'm going to use my first action, I believe, to combine. So let's combine 2 1s into a 2. Then I'm going to spend a 2 DNA to archive my anger back into my archive. And I have 6 DNA. At the end of my turn, I'm going to buy XX. Discard my bug marches. Draw my next 6. There's my webs again, so that's good. Alright, I think we're doing pretty good. Let's see what happens now. So cockroaches, event number 1. Mission trigger 1. Move 2 bugs towards a web token where they can kill it if possible. Can't they move towards your home spawn point? Is there any they can get to kill? I don't believe. So this one's going to attempt to move to the home spawn point. It just turns him. This one is actually going to move onto my home spawn point because he normally would jump 3, 1, 2 off the board. So he'd go to the closest space he can land on. So not here, it'll be here. Spawn 2 bugs on terrain spaces. Alright, so we're looking at the 2 closest terrain spots they can spawn to. These are the cockroaches that are going to be hissing roaches, because that's their lowest cost of movement. The one's going to spawn in the grass up here. It's definitely close to my units. And now it's the sand or the grass here, which one's closer. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. This one is 5, so it's this one. And again, it can go either direction. In that case, the tiebreaker is towards my home spawn point, so it's going to be here. I still only have 1 mission, so we skip down. I have no leftovers in my storage. None of them can kill me on attacks. This guy is facing this way, but it's 1 and 1 is a 2, so it ties. No, I can't kill either. Alright, my turn. I really need to get another mission completed here. I need to start ramping up. Alright. So I have 5 food and a couple web cards. Alright, let's use the Cellar Spider web to drop my last web on that hissy roach. So now I've completed my next one, which is the harvest. So now as an action, I can get a web card, or I can get a one of my web tokens back and kill a bug under it. So remember, I do need to kill bugs with these. I'm going to. I can't use the other web this turn because I'm going to be saving that for next turn. Because I have no webs. I have to harvest something this turn. Tempted to harvest that hissing roach. Actually, that palmetto bug. Alright, let's free move him to here. Let's harvest that palmetto. Harvesting gets me a food. It gets me one kill with a web. Kinda want to spawn off a web this turn too. Yeah, I need to get rid of one of these leftovers. So I'm gonna use my leftover. Spawn a cellar spider on this web. Gets me another spawn on the web, because I really need to start building that up. I need 8 of those, I'm up to 4. And I think that will do it for me. But now I do have 2 goals completed, so they're going to start coming after me a little harder now. Alright, so I'm keeping the other web card in my hand, so I only draw back up to 5 now, or I draw 5 more cards now. There's 1, I have to reshuffle. 2, 3, 4, 5. I did spawn, so I didn't have to buy anything, so I chose not to. So my next hand is going to be very resource heavy here. It's going to look like this, because I kept this one web card. And now it is their turn. So event card, we have the ants. Mission 6 trigger. Move 2 bugs. Oh, this is also event 6. So it's going to be move 2 bugs towards a web token where they can kill it if possible. If no web tokens exist, then they're going to go towards the home spawn point. So they're going to move towards the webs if they can kill them. Let's see. So all my webs are just down here, so they're all going to be coming towards me, really. So it's going to be closest to the center here. This one's already adjacent, so he won't move. So this one's going to go first. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, this one's the same. So probably do this one. And then this one here is the next closest that can actually move. Remember, this guy can't go through the stone. So he, instead of moving, since he's facing 2 turns away from the way he wants to go, he just turns to face the way he wants to go. Now we flip a worker ant into a carpenter and move it twice towards your closest bug. It's going to be the closest thing that trigger, or it's closest to the middle, sorry. So it's going to be this one. So he's going to flip. He was facing this way. He's going to move 2 times towards my closest bug. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So his first move is just the turn, and his second move's there. And it was a turn because he had to turn more than just 60 degrees. Now I do have 2+ goals completed, so he's going to go to the next one. Move already, it's towards your closest bug. So this one, closest bug's up there, so his movement is just simply going to be, actually he's facing this way. He's next to the anthill, so he's actually going to come out over here. So he's going to go through here, and he can face any direction he wants. So he always faces the highest value. Feast, I must discard a food card because the queen's still up there. And then attacking, so there's a 2 against a 2 here, and a 2 against a 3 here, so he's going to kill the Grey Wall Jumper. Tunneler, 1, 2, 3, 4, so there is one now that they can place out. It's going to go right here. So that's 4 spaces away. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now all their tunnels are on the board, so they won't be adding any more hills. That's it for them. They'll be using them, but they won't be adding them. Okay, back to me. So I have 6 DNAs to drop into my storage. Whew. Alright. Let's use my surprise web. Let's web that red ant. Gives me a token for webbing something that's a 3 or higher. I'm going to spend 2 DNA to archive a bug march. I still have a free move left. Free move the cellar here. I should have probably harvested at some point during this turn, but I can harvest next turn if I need to. I should probably spawn. Let's go ahead and spend 3 food, spawn a gray wall jumper. Here. Spawn on the web. I think that's going to do it for me. So I'm going to, I did spawn, I don't have to buy. I don't want to buy though, I do have 4 DNA. You know what, I'm going to spend 3 DNA and buy Busy as a Bee. This is the one that gives me extra actions. So we've almost purchased all the cards that I really want out of this deck for the strategy that I was going for. We're not quite there yet. I still have the attacking webs that I kind of wanted to get, just because it kind of boosts my combat values a little bit. I don't need it, but it might be nice. Or Nasty Bite. I want one more attack card in there if I need it. I don't think I will, but better safe than sorry sometimes. Draw my next 6. So we do have egg sacs next turn, so I'm kind of glad I didn't harvest because I'm going to use egg sacs instead. I might use egg sacs and harvest next turn because I have no weapon cards. So to get 2 of my web tokens back. Alright, event. Ants. Mission 2 trigger. Spawn 2 bugs 1 space away from the highest costing bug. So they're going to get 2 red ants, 1 space away from my highest. Alright, the camera shut off on me at some point. I don't know what turn was last seen on there, but we're going to continue back where I left off. So you might be missing a little bit of this. So it's currently my turn. Here's my hand. We have 3 missions completed. I have 6 tokens towards the 8 that I need for spawning on webs. I have 3 tokens towards the 5 I need for unit locking for webbing things that are 3 food cost or more. And I have 3 tokens for killing bugs with webs. This is the state of the board right now. I'm very much getting overrun, but that's normal in this game. As you're playing solo and co-op, the enemies come out a lot faster than whatnot, because it's more of a puzzle nature than reacting to another player. So I'm going to drop my 2 DNA into my storage, which gives me now 5 in my storage. Drop my food into my storage, which gives me 5 food in my storage as well. Now I do have a web card in my hand, so my first action is going to be play my web. I'm going to web this red ant right here, which is going to give me another token on unit locking. I got 2 actions left. I need to start harvesting some things. So I'm going to free move my gray wall here. No. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to free move my gray wall there. I really want to get this gray wall up here and web that, but I don't have a web card for the gray wall right now, so I gotta wait till that card comes up. In my archive, I do have an anger and 2 bug marches. I think with my next action, I'm gonna spend 2 DNA to archive this bug march, get that out of my deck for the time being. I could have harvest, but I do have a web left over I can use later, so I'm not going to worry, and I still have egg sacs in my deck. we purchased most of the cards that I talked about at the beginning of the game that I want to get into my deck. There's only a couple more in there that I may want to add, but at this point I think my deck is where I want it. I just need to kind of ride it out and just get these last couple missions before this event deck runs out, which is getting kind of low, so I'm a little worried about the killing bugs with my webs. I might not have enough actions to do it, but I do have Busy as a Bee in here to give me a couple more actions when that comes up. So I think I'm okay. Anyways, I need to purchase or spawn this turn still. It's probably a good idea to spawn on a web. I'm just going to spend a 1 food, and I'm going to spawn a Solo Spider on this web down here just to get me another token there. I do that one more time, I'm going to end up getting that mission. Don't want to do it just yet because I could finish the mission now, but that's going to trigger the event to have an extra step that I have to do. And I kind of want to hold off until next turn at least for that. Let's draw my next 6 cards and see what we get. So I do have my other web and I have egg sacs, so that's actually a really good hand for me. I like that. Let's look at our event card. So we have cockroaches, number 2. So we're triggering mission 2. I completed 2, so it's going to go to 3. So move 2 bugs towards a web token where they can kill it. If possible, if no web token exists, they move towards your home spawn point. So 2 cockroaches are going to move towards a web. Now remember, there are webs underneath of these creatures, and they will count those. So this guy can't move, he's not going to. This one, actually there's only these 2 that can really move towards the web, because they're the closest 2 to any of the webs that are down here. He is 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 1, 2. He's 1, 2, 3. So this one's going to move to here. And this one, he's actually going to slot in here. And now, they are going to do some stuff. But first we have to do the rest of this. Spawn 2 bugs 1 space away from one of your bugs, and then move 2 palmettos closest to the closest bug. They only have armor-plated roaches left, which are fairly nasty. Alright, so 1 space away from 2 of my bugs. Again, we go from the center. So we go from this point right here where the 3 general boards collide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 that way. Down this way be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 and 5. My home spawn point's the first one it's going to do. Since it says one of the bugs that I control, it's going to be just the 1 bug. So 2 spaces away, or it's 1 space away. So 1 empty or 1 space away there, and we go clockwise around. It wouldn't be there; it's going to be right here. All right. And now move 2 palmetto bugs 1 space closer to your closest bug. This one's close to there, so you can turn like that. That one's already there. Is there any that aren't next? So this one isn't next to, so he's going to move to 1 space closer to your closest bug. So he's going to move 1 space. So he turned, he'll move. Oh, that kind of hurts me. I wanted that gray wall to hop up towards the queen, but it's going to die. Alright. I have no leftovers, so scavenge doesn't hit me. Attacks, they kill the trapdoor here. They kill the gray wall up here. And that's it. None are next to the jelly bean, I'm still good. I've been doing a good job of keeping them away from there. Most of the stuff happening is down here, which is keeping them far away from that jelly bean. If I was farther up the board, that might be a little bit more of a problem. But they've been coming to me, and I've been happy with that. And it's just the way the events have played out. That, and I've been clearing off a couple things around this area. Okay, so my turn. 5 more food to drop into my storage. Alright. we're going to be completing 2 missions this turn, which is nice. I want to get that queen ant so bad. Just trying to look and see if there's a way I can do this. I have the web card for it too. I don't think I can. I can't spawn the gray wall because it'd be adjacent to the enemy. If I spawn him to the side, he won't reach the queen with a free move. If I spawn him behind me, I need 2 moves to get him there. I could do it if I don't use the egg sacs. Is it worth it? It might be. Oof. Alright, let's do this. I don't think I'm going to get it this turn, so I'm going to free move to here. We'll use our surprise web. We're going to web that palmetto up here. That gives me... my unit locking is now complete. So now webs count as grass spaces for me. So if I want to web, I can grass up on my units, which I may take advantage of here in a little bit. I have 2 leftovers here. I need to get rid of these. I'm going to spend the 2 leftovers with a 1 food for 3 food for a gray wall jumper. And we'll spawn him on this web right here. It's not the best spawn point for him, but I need to spawn on a web to complete this other mission. So now web crawlers is completed. My bugs cost 1 less food to spawn on webs to a minimum of 1 food. So that's going to make it a little easier for me to spawn. Out of actions, I'm going to, or no, that was just 2 spawns. That was just a spawn, I'm sorry. I still have 1 action. I do have egg sacs. I don't have a free move left. Do I just get rid of this one? Yeah. Alright, I'm going to bust this egg sac. That gives them a leap roach back. And I get to place a spider there. I'm going to drop in my trapdoor. This. That. Which gives me a little bit of protection there. Is that the way I want him? I want to turn him like this, I think. Yeah, that's probably the better one. Okay, we'll do that. Ditch the bug marsh, I'm not going to use it. I did spawn. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to buy. Do I want to? I don't think I do. I think I'm good. Alright, yeah, I'm going to end it there. So I have 1 mission left. I just got to kill a lot more bugs with webs. I still have 5 more bugs I gotta kill with webs. Alright, so 3. Now I'm playing the easy game, so of course if I was playing harder difficulty, I would be having some problem right now. So what would happen to me on a harder game? Let's see. Oh yeah, so if they kill my webs, they're removed from the game. They did kill one of my webs, I would be down a web right now, if that's the case. I've been doing a good job of keeping them away from the jelly bean, so I wouldn't have that problem. I've been doing a good job of keeping hungers out of my deck, so I wouldn't have that problem. Because the things that make the game harder would be if the ants had 6 ants next to the jelly bean, I lose. And if the hunger deck runs out, I lose. So those are the 2 things that can pop up to affect me there. And also, anytime a web is removed by an opponent, it's removed from the game. They can never go below 1 web. So if they could remove up to 3 of my webs from the game, leaving me with 1 left. They've only killed 1 web so far, so not doing too bad. Alright. My new hand. Alright, well, I got busy as a bee, but I have no real actions to use besides combining. It's not the worst thing. We are getting low on turns. I might want to start combining to get those web cards faster. So let's go ahead and see what events is. The ants. Number 7. Mission 2 trigger. Okay, so it's going to go the whole way up to the last mission that we have left. So all the mission triggers are going to always do mission 6 right now. Move 2 bugs towards a web token that they can kill if possible. I don't think any of the ants can really get to, well, this one here is probably the closest one they can move towards, because the other ones are all surrounded. Yeah, so this one's going to turn this way, because he's going to turn to face it, he's moving towards it. And then the next closest one is this one, this worker way down here, and this guy right here. So the closest one to the center is him. Actually, it's gonna be this red ant. Because remember, this space here, they can move through it. So if you pop through that, facing this way. Spawn 3 ants 1 space away from your bugs. Now, there's no more ants on the board, so when I do a spawn, it's gonna take the ones farthest away from me. It's gonna move them closer to me. So let's see. Definitely this guy. And he'll spawn back as the carpenter. He'll stay whatever side he was on. This one's technically like 1 away. This one's 2 away. This one's 2 away. 2 away. So it's closest to the center. Be this guy. And set 3. This one. Alright, so these 3 are going to spawn 1 space away from the bugs. Starting at the center, going around, it's going to be this guy first. It's going to be there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're actually 1, 2, 3. It's going to, or can't go there. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. It's going to go here. Because this guy, and last one, actually he gets placed last, I'm sorry. Remember, it's food costing is the order. So these cost 1 food technically, and then they flip over to that. This guy costs 5. So the next one would be maybe here, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. Closest to my home spawn point would be the tiebreaker, so it goes there. Move all worker ants 3 spaces towards the jelly bean. Well, there's not many workers left. They're mostly carpenters now, so he can go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think they're the only 2 workers we have. Everything else is carpenter or red. It's going to trigger the mission again. Move 2 bugs towards a web that they can kill. Oh yeah, they're gonna go. So he'll move there. He'll move to there. And then I discard a food from my storage because there's 1 adjacent to the jelly bean. Combat. They kill this gray wall. And they only get to attack once, so they won't get to attack the web also, because I had somebody on it. Is there any other ones that attack me? I don't think so. No, I'm good. Okay, they don't do tunneler anymore. Alright, my turn. How many turns do I have left? I got 4 turns left. 3 cards and 1 after that. So I have 4 food. We'll lay those down. 3 DNA. And I have busy as a bee. This is going to be a massive combining turn, I think. I'm busy as a bee. let's combine away this leftover first. So I'm combining these two. My default goes away. This goes back. I get a 2. And then I think I'll just combine 2 1s from here. Maybe, no, I'm going to combine a 2 and a 1 to make a 3. So 2 and a 1. Oops. I'll put them in the right piles. You get a 3. And I have one more action. And then, so whenever I get 3 for the busy as a bee, I'll do a 2 and a 1 for a 3 again. 2, 1, 3. Okay. What do I want to do now? Buy or spawn? Probably spawn. I could have also harvested that turn. It might have been a good idea. Actually, let's do that. Instead of that last combine, I'm going to harvest the bug. So I'll take my 2 and my 1 back. So last action, let's go ahead and harvest. I have a free move also I haven't used. So we can free move the cellar spider up here and harvest out this red ant. Get that back. It'll give me a kill and a 1 food. Alright. I think I'm happy with that. Okay, try my next 6. 6. So we do have a web and we have the egg sacs coming up. That's a good hand. Let's see what happens. Cockroach event 4. Alright, so it's going to be moving 2 of the cockroaches towards the closest web that they can get to. He's already adjacent to 1. 3, 1, 2. So this one's going to move to here, which is going to cause me some problems. And this one here, I believe, will just move to here because he's trying to get to that web. Alright, spawn 1 of each cockroach type. 2 spaces away, we have 1 cockroach that can spawn. So this will be my closest bug to the center, which I believe is that gray wall jumper right here. So it's going to go clockwise around him until it finds a spot that it can spawn on, which is going to be right here. It has to be 1 space away. Alright, so the camera keeps shutting off again. I don't know where you left off on me, but right now we're doing the cockroach gets a move because of my hunger, free move, and they're trying to get to the jelly bean. So which one? Oh, in 2 moves, this one over here can actually this one can do it in 1 move. So it's gonna be him. So he's gonna leap right to there. Oh, that's not a leap roach. I'm sorry. Nope, it's gonna be this one. So he'll move here. He'll turn and move there. 1, 2, 3. Actually, he can get the whole way over to here, which is even worse for me, because now he's a lot harder for me to reach. Ouch. That is not good. I'm gonna ditch 2 food to get rid of that hunger as well, so it's no longer in my deck. Oh, I can't get to him in a free move. I do have the surprise web. I have 1 action though, that's all I get. So let's go ahead and surprise web this guy. That at least, now that the ant is still next to the jelly bean even under the web, so it's not gonna stop that from happening. But at least it's something. I can kill it next turn, maybe. Tempted to spawn on there to get rid of that leap roach next turn as well. I really hope I get a web or something. Oh, I do have the anger card in there. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna spend 2 because I can spawn on the web for cheaper. To get my gray wall to pop up here. And next turn, I can use that anger card to kill it. As long as nothing bad happens. Let's just pray it's not the cockroaches next. If it's the ants, I'm a little bit better off. It is the last event card, so I have 1 more turn after this. Hold on. Do I want to web that? What do I need? I don't know if I can afford to web that. I think I need a harvest. No, I have to web it because I need to kill 3 more webs. Ooh. I need Busy as a Bee to come up next turn. I need to harvest 3 times. I think that's the only way I can win. Those hungers really hurt me. Oh, I shouldn't have moved towards the jelly bean as aggressively as I did at the end. Or I should have blocked the jelly bean off from them. That would have been a better idea, actually. Yeah, I should have, I think I should have aggressively got around the jelly bean to stop them from getting there. Especially near where the cockroaches were. Or web the cockroaches and not web the ants to keep the cockroaches away. The cockroaches are what hurt. Okay. Anyways, it's going to come down to my card draw at this point, I think. Well, luckily I have 6 cards, and my Busy as a Bee is in there. So next turn I should be okay, as long as they don't kill a web. If they kill a web, I think I lose. So I do need to make sure I boost my webs. So I would spawn here and here. Just make sure to spawn on all my webs to make sure that they can't be killed. I can still harvest underneath them. I just can't. I can't let them die. I think that's going to save me. So draw my next 6. I only had 7 cards in there, and Hunger was the bottom of the deck. And I didn't use Busy as a Bee, so it's definitely in the 6 cards. Well, here's the 6 that I just drew. So, I think we're okay now. That's right? Yeah. Okay, so what do they do? Ant Event. Mission 3 trigger. So, it's going to be the same mission. It's going towards my webs and trying to kill them. So I look at what ants are closest to webs. This one will just turn towards it. This one will just turn towards it. Those are the 2 closest ones to the webs. Spawn 2 red ants. 1 space away from a bug that doesn't have any bugs within 1 space of them. All my bugs are surrounded by things, so that's not... So it's going to be the least number of bugs around it. So it's going to be closest to the center. These guys up here are closest to the center. So it'll be like this. Spawn 2 red ants on terrain and move them towards the closest bug that you control. So this is going to pick up this red ant. And this one the closest terrain spaces to my bugs. So it's going to be right here. And move up this way. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one. And actually that guy's even closer. He's going to move to there. Okay. And then move towards webs. I'm glad I spawned on the webs. Closest. This guy can actually move to here, which is a little... No, it's the same number of spaces. He would just turn. I think. Yeah, none of the other ones can really move to get closer to a web, so if they can't move to get closer, they just turn to face. Feast, there's still 1 ant, the queen ant who's adjacent there, so I lose that 3 food card that I have, which is sad, but not really that bad at this point. Attacking, they will kill here, and they will kill here. And that is it for the ants. My last turn, I play Busy as a Bee, and I just harvest. So, harvest, harvest. Oops. And harvest. Alright, and there's the state of the end of the game. We win. What I would have gotten is I would have gotten, when I kill a unit under a web, I get 2 food instead of 1. So if I did that earlier, I would have gotten that. So that's a look at the solo game. I know the camera cut out a couple times, so I don't know if you got the whole playthrough. And I was playing a lot slower, trying to explain things as I went. Normally, you can play solo in about 45 minutes or so is generally how long it takes me to play through. And this was the spiders versus the ants and cockroaches. And as you can tell, that the cockroaches really almost killed me just by letting them get beside the jelly bean once. If I'd let them get there even more, it would have been I probably would have lost at that point. So you gotta keep them away. And that's the point of the different races you play, different factions that you play. They will change up what your strategy has to be. My strategy was keep them from the jelly bean at all costs. The queen spawning next to the jelly bean kind of hurt. I knew that was going to be coming eventually. I just was hoping that I would have been closer to kill her before she did anything. But it didn't hurt me that much. I always had a little bit of food to spawn. Near the end of the game I started to run low on food. But yeah, I think I was okay. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the look at the solo play. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.